Out here beaver trapping, northern Wisconsin. It's January 17th. Got the highway right up there, and I noticed a couple of beaver houses from the highway, but it's pretty much just a swamp that had a little stream running through it. And then the beaver put a dam there, if you can see that. And then they've got a new house that wasn't here last year. So I came in and snared 3 beaver out of here last year, and haven't had any luck yet this year. I put in a couple of snares now that it's a little colder, but they do have a lot of aspen around here that they can eat, so they're probably not super hungry yet. You can see some of those sticks sticking up, that's their feed bed. But I came out here and just pulled up this one snare pole, and the beaver have eaten my aspen stick and did not get caught in the snare. So I just pulled another one from over there, and now I'm going to set it here. So my snare pole setup is pretty simple. Just take an aspen or popple stick about, oh, they chewed on that one there a little bit too. About, what is that, 40 inches long. Twist a little piece of 12 gauge wire around here, leaving the 2 ends that I can hook the whammies on for the snares. And then I just have another piece of wire securing my 2 snares. Make sure you have a tag on based on your own state or provincial or jurisdiction or zone laws. And then I just put a cross stick in there and can hang my 2 snares. Now these are not actually snares, these are dry land cable restraints, Wisconsin legal. So there's some disadvantages to using these for beaver. One is they only close up to about 2.5–3 inches, which can be bad if you get them around the tail. If it's a small one, they can actually slip right out. But that's all I had. I just ordered 5 dozen snares from Southern Snaring Supply, and those just came in, so I'll be building some new snares. In fact, I built 2 this morning before I came out. So that's the setup right there. When I chop my hole, I try to do a longer rectangular one, and then I should have this stick turned 90 degrees. So you want your snares just a little bit on the dice. So we got about 4 or 5 inches of ice here. So not too deep. They'll want to come up and chew off that stick as close to the ice as they can where it's frozen in. The problem is if it gets really cold and you get 2–3 inches of ice, your snares are going to freeze in and be inoperable. So they can be a little frustrating. Another thing, I don't set snares unless it's below freezing. It's about 26 degrees out today. In fact, I just chopped that hole and there's already a little skim of ice forming under. So that's good. I want this to freeze in so that beaver can't get caught and then come up here on top of the ice and get air and be alive, and possibly even get away if this stick doesn't get frozen in. You want them to just get caught and die, drown under the ice within a minute or 2, so they're not struggling around. That snare can do damage to the hide. I don't usually catch them around the neck like you would a canine. They usually get their front legs through at least one, so they're usually caught right behind the front legs. But I have caught them around one hind leg. I've caught several just by the tail, so you never can tell. And then got this fresh beaver house here, and we know that there's still beaver in here because we just had a couple inches of snow the other day, and you can see up on top where it's melted here. That's their vent hole, so we know that there's still beaver actively living in here that melts that snow. And on a really cold day when it's maybe 10 or 15 below, you can actually see their breath coming out of the top of that. So we got another one here, and this is really thin ice around here, so I'm just watching where I step. You always want to check every step when you're walking around a beaver house because they can keep that ice pretty thin in there. Look at that beaver tail right there. Alright, thought it felt a little heavy. And it's all tangled up in something. Alright, so I'm going to do a little more chopping here. That's a good size tail there, so it looks like a big one. This is part of their feed pool. That's an alder stick, so I guess maybe they might be hungry there. I thought if they're in here eating tag alder. Oh yeah, that's a nice big one. So you can see where this guy's snared here. He was alive for a little while. He's all twisted up. But I have a cam lock snare here. This one is a snare. It closes right down tight, so even if he would have got caught around the tail or hind leg, he would have been held. Chewed up that stick pretty good. It looks almost black back here, but more brownish up there. So I didn't bring my cable cutters with me today, so I mean I did, but they're in the truck, which is several hundred yards away. So I'm just gonna drag them out like this. So another thing, what I like to do is you roll these guys in the snow as soon as you catch them, and it helps to dry them off. So I'm not sure how many are left in here. Like I said, I got 3 last year, and this is the first one this year. But with this house wasn't even here. There's 2 other small houses over there that are not being used. They've got weeds growing on them, and there's no vent hole on top. So this is like the only one, and it looks a little big for just one beaver. So I'm guessing there's probably a breeding pair in here. Probably not in the entire colony, but all right, well, that's beaver trapping in the swamps.